Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. It's the official podcast of GeoWoodstock 18 in the great Pacific Northwest. Each week, we're going to talk about caches and cachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're wondering how Jeopardy champion would look on your resume, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
And of course, that means it's time to bring in our champion chimpanzee. Some say he once took a cruise on a gravy boat. And others say he refuses to give up his CompuServe email address. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
That's right. It's landmonkey at CompuServe.org.
Mine was
send all your emails there.
Mine was 73357,2334, as I recall.
Are you making that up?
No, that was my CompuServe user number.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, that's pretty impressive, man.
I bet you can get that website address.
Maybe. I don't think you can put a comma in a URL, but
make that the dot.
Yeah,
because you can have anything now as your domain.
Well, I would say get out there right now and reserve your friend face space.
Oh yeah, it's okay. I think I'm going to die next Tuesday at 3:15. Well, that was a different website.
It was, but still a great series. All right. Well, folks, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about GeoWoodstock 17, and we're also, I'll recap some of the stuff from there that I saw and learned and enjoyed.
17's a prime number. It's a good one.
It was a good one. And talk a little bit about Fort Worth, but we'll also just talk about some geocaching stuff in general. And we're certainly looking forward to any questions you guys have over in the chat. So remember, if you've got questions for us, to use a hashtag FATAS if it's not really related to what we're talking about. But you know what? We're going to be pretty chillaxed tonight. So, Chris is going to have a nap.
There you go.
And Jim and I are going to run the podcast.
Just wake me up when it's over.
There you go. So that'll be good. So yeah, we'll have a lot of fun, and we're going to just talk about all that kind of stuff. And you know what? Honestly, if you guys have any questions or comments that you want us to talk about as we go along, throw them out there. Hashtag chillax. There you go. Thanks, Keats. And we'll just roll with it tonight. All right. Well, speaking of rolling with it, we want to remind you guys that we appreciate the rolling support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast rolling along each and every week. And particular thanks to Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. And folks, if you would like to know more about supporting the show, I forgot to do this. Hey, look at that. I got a new shark.
Hey,
got a new shark today.
It's jumping.
Yes, I just jumped the shark.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. And if you want to know more about supporting this show, click.
And who wouldn't?
Link. Yeah, right. Click the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website, which works because we just checked it. Oh, that was fun right before the show starts.
No, your idea of fun is completely different from my idea of fun.
Oh, awesome, man. Well, you know what else is fun? Glows are fun.
I love glows, and we need your glow. I know you've got one. You're just waiting to submit. You should do it now. You know what the glow is? It's the geocaching log of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you wrote it, whether you read it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Send an email or a field recording to feedback@cashingnw.com. Call into 253-693-TFTC. There's a voicemail tool on the website that works.
There is.
Yeah. And show us how you glow.
Well, you know who's glowing this week? It's friend of the show, loyal listener and supporter, Greenwords. Wrote, "Hi guys, it's Greenwords. How's it going?"
She's in the chat.
It's going well, Greenwords.
It's going well. That's right. She says, "Here's an entry for the glow. The log was written by my hubby. You might know him as Wet Coaster. Longtime listener and supporter of the show as well. It's for GCN341, which is called BSP. I don't know what that stands for. I'm hoping it's bacon, spam, and pastrami, three of my favorite meat products."
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
One of them's a completely vegetarian option, isn't it?
I don't know about that, but I like all of them. So BSP is actually not far from home. His log says it all. So let's read. Out caching with Greenwords. We decided to try and avenge a long-standing DNF. So long-standing that it's a nemesis cache.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun.
Oh. My first DNF on this cache was the 3rd of September 2012. I've lost track of how many times I or we have come back to make the find. The frustration at seeing found it after found it logs posted, it was on my watch list, almost hoping for an archive log, that found it was becoming a new 4-letter F word. So back to today's hunt. It didn't seem to me like it would be a good hunt, as the undergrowth that I remember from the last time here is more like overgrowth now. Which way do you think we should go? Was short for, I don't see a trail that way. Remember, the trail's always easier on the way out. After going through a former homeless camp, we came upon the familiar area where I remember searching oh so many times before, with the added bonus of a lot more growth and forest debris to navigate. It also doesn't help that the GPS signal is highly filtered and distorted due to the growth around ground zero. After another 20 minutes or so of wandering, slipping, annoying searching, we'd pretty much decided to add this trip to our many previous excursions to the area. Oh, I'll take one more look over there, although I'm sure I've looked there before. Well, I guess I hadn't looked there before because I was rewarded with a view of a cache container.
Nice.
The hint makes sense to me, although I don't know what any one of the 100 of other suitable locations in this area couldn't have been the hiding place for the cache. Many curses and many more thanks to Captain X for the hide. You don't have any more like this, do you?
Oh, I've had a nemesis cache. I don't know if it's been that many years, but yeah, those are just no fun.
No.
You just want to get it found, to get it off your list, to say I'm never going there again.
Well,
Yeah.
good for Wet Coaster and Greenwoods that they kept at it, because that's a long time to keep going back after one of those. And
Yeah, 2012. I mean, I was
Yep.
like 30 years old in 2012.
Mhm.
yeah, look how much wiser you are now.
Something.
I love his line there where he kept it on his pocket query, just hoping for an archive log.
Yeah.
Right, on his watch list. Yeah.
On his watch list. Yeah.
I'm happy to report that 2 of those on my watch list nearby have been archived. So I feel somewhat justified that I did not find them.
I think if you leave them on your watch list long enough, the odds are they will get archived.
Well, eventually, yeah. But I was also glad that nobody found these nearby. They were truly missing.
Okay, well, that's good.
Well, we could have
I mean-
hosted an archive party, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not that anybody would ever do that. Just
know, it's
saying,
kinda fun.
hypothetically.
Nobody knows. Nobody looks at those archive logs anyway. I'm convinced
Yeah.
of it.
Whatever.
Yeah,
What could
no,
go
that's
wrong,
not the way
right?
it works. Hey guys,
What?
Yeah.
we are going to talk about GeoWoodstock 17. If you want to ask any questions or bring up any other GeoWoodstock 17-ish chat items, use the hashtag GW17
17. All right.
in tonight's show.
No
And of
news?
course,
Go ahead.
use the hashtag FOOTASS to bring up topics for.
The after show.
I wasn't ready for that.
Oh,
I thought,
that
I'm not
echo
going
in
to
here.
say that word.
Yeah.
I'll let somebody else say that.
Any other news this week before we jump into GW 17?
Well, I mean, you guys had some personal news.
Mhm.
Some milestones in the family.
Oh yeah, there is that. Yeah, we did. Go ahead, Chris. You had more recently.
I had more recently I have a graduate, the last high school graduate in my house. My son has graduated high school, so, and then we move on to Wits End.
Yes.
So after high school graduation,
Yes, my youngest has graduated college, so I am now older than dirt, and I have successfully raised 2 children through college degrees. So I'm done. I've considered check. End of game.
Nice work.
Nothing else to look forward to now.
so kind of like
Oh, come
bucket
on.
list item.
Yeah, something pretty much. Yeah.
Nothing else to look forward to.
But as far as news, I was going to say,
Yeah.
as we sit and record this, I don't know when you might be listening to this, although I know people in the chat are listening to it right now. As we sit and record it, it is the 6th of June, 2019, which I just want to throw out a thank you to everybody in history that helped. This is the 75th anniversary of the Allied forces landing at Normandy, D-Day.
Right.
So Canadian, American, British, all combined. It's not just an American battle. It was
That's right.
No, it
a
wasn't.
great combined effort, and my hat's off, and I'm forever grateful to all those that have gone before and given the ultimate sacrifice so we can all enjoy the freedoms that we do now.
Yeah.
So
No, that's a really good point. And it's, it's obviously been all over the news and the social media
yeah,
yesterday and today of, and I think what I really enjoyed, and I get a little bit choked up watching it, are the Normandy, um, um,
the survivors are there.
yeah, when they
Yeah.
have the stage and they have the soldiers up there and, talking about what it means to them. And
Yeah.
then, they had some stories about the oldest surviving Canadian combat flyer who lives in Comox now, and he's like 98 or something
Hmm.
like that. And and he's got all his faculties, and he expresses himself better than I express myself. And
Yeah.
just amazing listening to him talk about his stories of his combat flights. So yeah, I mean,
Maybe we should get him on the podcast to
Ooh.
replace you.
yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Well, he didn't have to replace him. He could come interview him. But
Oh, okay.
There you go.
yeah, I just listened to a podcast this morning on my drive to work that was talking about D-Day and talking about apparently one of the Canadian regiments penetrated the farthest into Europe of all the divisions, regiments. I don't know the right words,
That was
but
Sword Beach, right? They
Um,
went 6 miles
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
on D-Day. Yeah.
Yeah. They said there were really only a handful of distinguished valor medals given out, primarily because, and they said one of the reasons is you can go out and do great things in battle, but somebody has to witness it and report it. And there were so many casualties that a lot of commanding officers didn't survive to report such heroic actions. But anyway, we could go on and on about D-Day and in history, and that's not this podcast, but we
It's
do want
not,
to
but it's
thank everybody that's gone on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, and absolutely. You know what? You're right, Jim. And thanks to, I don't know if there's any veterans, not just of World War II, but in general, who are listening to the podcast. And we thank you for your service, regardless
Mhm.
of what it was. All right. Switching gears.
Yes.
We're going to talk about um, Texas. We're going to talk about GeoWoodstock, which was my brain paused for a moment there. So I was trying to remember the name of the city.
Texas. That's the name of the city.
Well, Texas was the name of the state anyways.
Country.
Down to
The
Fort
country
Worth.
of Texas.
The country of Texas. Down in Fort Worth, so I'm going to preface all this by saying, and I shared this with a couple of people already, but I had a mental image of what Fort Worth, Texas as a period, what it was going to be like when I got there. And it was like the cowboy movies that are, of course, all filmed in Arizona.
Yeah.
But in my mind,
Yeah.
that's what Texas would look like.
Monument Valley down, that kind of area.
Yeah.
No.
And no, Fort Worth is quite lush and green. And it was. Oh, now we were there right after they had some major rain, so of course that helped. Particularly seemed to help the mosquito breeding, but
It does that down there. Yeah.
but it was still really neat, and it was a beautiful city to walk around. We did one of the adventure labs. I always want to say lab caches, so I got to pause myself.
You're correct. Adventure Labs.
Yeah.
I'm working hard on memorizing that one.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Was it in a box canyon? Because in all the Cowboys movies, there always seems to be a box canyon.
Yeah.
Well, there were lots of boxes, so
Okay.
I could have made a canyon out of them. That would
Check that box. Oh wait, no, that's different.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, we had a great time. So we went, as I think people have figured out by now, we went down with our friends Geo Travelers, Christy from the Geo Travelers, and Helen and Chris from the Land Sharks. And we all went down together, and we got an Airbnb together, which was really neat. It was this, I call it a heritage home. It probably wasn't, but it felt like this neat little rancher that it was almost like a TARDIS. It felt like it was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside, but it was beautifully little appointed Airbnb with like original hardwood floors, and it was a gorgeous little place that we had. So, I mean, you got to love it when you score with Airbnb. And So we stayed there and went out and explored it. Now, granted, we didn't do probably as much as exploring as we would have liked to, because we were also doing a lot of work getting ready for the launch of GeoWoodstock 18. But you know, it was still
Well, there's that.
there's that, but it was still fun. And oh yeah, I see Christy's in the chat already, mentioning the Trinity Trails Geo Tour, which we'll definitely talk about. And I do have to share about her giant teddy bear. So Christy had, I guess, what was the kids' room out of all the rooms, and there was a like human-sized teddy bear in the room, and we thought that was just pretty funny. So
Nice. That's one of those things that you get and you think, oh, that'll be cute to have that teddy bear. And where do you put it?
we bought our son when he was a toddler a giant stuffed duck one Easter. He still has it to this day, so I give him credit for that. But Ducky has been around for a really long time, and Ducky is pretty big. And Ducky is going to go with Reese when he moves out. I'll just tell you
That's what you think.
Only if he has the car big enough to transport it.
There's that. Oh yeah, awesome.
No, you bought Ducky. You're stuck with Ducky.
Stucky with Ducky. There you go.
Make it a trackable and send it on its way.
That's what you
Leave
need
it
to
at
do.
an event. Somebody else's problem.
Just leave it on the hood of a car at a trailhead.
Yeah, that works really well with
works.
trackables.
That's how we got an ironing board trackable one time. Just saying.
Not cool.
It's a drawback to people recognizing
cool.
your car.
So
Yeah.
Texas wasn't what you had imagined. I take it you hadn't been to Texas before?
I had not. This was our first visit to Texas. So lit up a new state, and in fact, 2 new states, because when we got off the plane, we drove straight up to this most southern point of Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And
Oklahoma is okay.
it is. It really was. And we picked up a virtual cache there, and then
Were there winds whistling across the plains?
they really were.
Winds come
in fact.
sweeping across the plain. Yeah.
Sweeping across the plains. Thank you. I don't know my song as well as I think I do.
Yeah, I don't know how much of the winds were the freeway we were immediately adjacent to,
Oh, okay.
but there was definitely winds. In fact, speaking of winds, I was very pleased that we avoided the tornadoes. Apparently there had been tornado warnings right before we landed, and then right after we left, there were more tornado warnings. I'm like, wow.
So you were a calming influence to Texas.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm a calming influence everywhere I go. I'm certain of that.
No, he's more of a tornado wherever he goes.
Maybe it's Mrs. Land Monkey.
I
Maybe
think
he was an equal and opposite force.
Yes.
There you go. That on that note, though, I do hope that any of those tornado warnings didn't turn into actual tornadoes and impact any of our geocaching friends, and particularly all the volunteers who worked so hard to put on the GeoWoodstock 17, which was overall a pretty amazing event. I was really impressed. It was the very first one that was indoors. So
That's amazing.
They got that one on the scoreboard.
Well, if you've spent any time in Texas in the summer, it's a good thing to be indoors.
Yeah. It was definitely definitely appreciated by everybody. You could. I didn't go out for the group picture this time. I was manning the booth for the land sharks while the group picture was going on, and when everybody eventually came back in, I heard a lot of people going, "Oh."
I did a work trip down through Oklahoma all the way to Houston last August. So yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
That seems like the wrong time of year to be there.
But I lit up Oklahoma and Texas myself last summer. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, so that was cool. The venue was great. It was the Will Rogers Memorial Center, and it's like a big conference center, and they had about half of the space they had for GeoWoodstock, and the other half was like a rock and gem show, which I was actually quite curious to go check out, but I didn't have enough time.
It was a gem show with a lot of music.
Yes.
It was rocking.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what it was.
He just tried to make Earth Cache clues out of all of the.
That's right.
Excuse me, can you show me what? You have any columnar basalt I mean, that's a common one. I just want a big piece of it so I know what it looks like.
I'm looking for a glacial erratic.
Any erratic gems you can help me with?
Oh dear.
Like security?
We have an erratic seeker over here.
Yeah.
Can you?
Another one of those. You're on the wrong side of the building, buddy.
That's right.
All right. Anyways, no, that was so. Yeah, it was a great facility. The day rolled out really well. It was a lot of fun. So they had the breakout sessions. They had a couple of panels going on. They had the reviewer panel, which was, it's always fun, the reviewer panel, because you kind of always get some of the same questions, and I think that's fair because there's a lot.
Why
of
didn't you approve my cash?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think there's a lot of people there's always people who are new to the game. And that's one of the great things I think about GeoWoodstock period is that it moves around. So you would have gotten a lot of people from the Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas area who would have been relatively new to the game. And this was their first GeoWoodstock they had an opportunity to go to. So I think that's really cool. So they would have had the opportunity to ask some of those questions. And yeah, I mean, I listened in on the reviewer panel, and there was some questions where I probably could answer them myself because you've heard them a few times if you've been to a few reviewer panels. But I think it's good, and I really give full kudos to the reviewers who do that each and every year, who are patient and helpful with people's questions and volunteer to do that. I think it's awesome that they do.
Everybody, let's go hug a reviewer this week.
Yeah,
Hug a local reviewer.
there you go. Or at least don't be mean to them.
Oh, there you go. That they'd
Baby
appreciate that
steps.
just as much.
Baby steps. Yeah, actually, I just looked over into the chat there, and I see GSMX2 said that it was interesting to hear the difference between the reviewers. The Massachusetts people were very restrictive, he says. And I think, as a good friend of mine has often been quoted as saying, it's a global game played regionally. And so there's always something new and different about wherever you go and how the game is played there. Our F guy threw out the lunch was amazing. The barbecue brisket was great. And they had brisket and sausage, and then they had a vegetarian option, which I have no idea what that was.
Yeah, why would you?
You're in Texas. Why? Yeah.
But I did hear reports that the vegetarian option was quite tasty. So, good on them. But yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, I will tell you, I'm a second generation vegetarian. All my food is vegetarian.
Yeah.
Or has once been a vegetarian.
It was once been vegetarian.
Yeah. Vegetarian is a Native American word. It means bad hunter.
Yeah, Keats asks if any vegetarians actually live in Texas. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, but that was just one of the days that we were down there, and they did a lot of great stuff. They had some amazing lead up events. I didn't get to many of the lead up events, but I did go to the Midnight Madness event. I didn't stay right till midnight, but
was that a separate event?
So it was a separate event, and I've only been to one other GeoWoodstock before that, and that was Cincinnati. And so it was interesting to see how they rolled out the Midnight Madness at Texas in Fort Worth, and they had it at a different space. It was the Panther Island, or the Shack at the Panther Island Pavilion, and they had a live band playing country music in there, which not my personal favorite type of music, but certainly the band was skilled, so it wasn't unpleasant to listen to. Ran into and through the whole weekend, actually ran into lots of familiar faces, lots of listeners of the show. In fact, I had the pleasure of getting a little bit of time to talk with Southern Grits. You guys might remember that caching name. Submitted a glow quite a while ago that we read, and then we had a lengthy discussion about grits.
Southern Grits.
And she recalled that discussion and shared her thoughts about it with me, which was great. But I think one of my favorite things about GeoWoodstocks and pretty much any events, but GeoWoodstocks in particular, because I'm going somewhere that's way out of my normal area space that I'm operating in. Well, of course, except for next year, but generally with these events. So Cincinnati, had never been to Ohio. I've never been to Texas. So get to these locations and I'm running into geocachers from all over the US and Canada who have converged. And I'm surprised how many of them listen to our podcast and just, thank us for what we do every Thursday night. So, I want Chris, I wanted to pass on to you from the listeners who I ran into that they appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
And
We
we
appreciate
appreciate
you.
them. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a mutual appreciation party.
It was.
I appreciate you more than you appreciate me.
Yeah, no, it was good. So yeah, that was neat, and ran into, of course, a whole bunch of vloggers and podcasters, and um, Chad from the geocaching podcast was down there.
Mhm.
Chatted with him for a little while. Hung out with Gary and Jesse from um, uh, Geocache Talk, and that was neat talking with those guys for a
Yeah,
while.
that's their home territory there, isn't
Oh
it?
yeah, yeah, they were the big show in town. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Sure.
That's awesome, right? So, they had a lot of the hometown crowd, but of course, they've got listeners from all over as well. So I think it was really neat for their listeners to be able to hang out with them a little bit.
And they're such nice guys to begin with.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it was good. So that was cool. Yeah. So that's all kind of stuff that happened at the event itself. But we also got out and did some caching, which was
Oh, meaning not out of Texas, but
we eventually got out of Texas, but
Oh,
we
we
were
went
able
to
to get out.
Oklahoma right away. That's out of Texas.
yeah, that's
Sort of.
true.
There you go. No, we definitely did some exploring. We earned a geocoin,
A
Look at
geocaching adventure coin.
geocaching adventure coin. It's the Trinity Trails geocaching adventure. It's a geo tour down there that follows the Trinity Trails, which is actually quite an extensive trail system along the rivers, and some of the rivers to me almost felt like canals with the way they felt kind of structured on the sides. And
Mhm.
I really don't know the backstory on a lot of that, but found it quite fascinating. And yeah, just really cool. So we enjoyed that and found all the caches. So we got the souvenir and the coin. So that's
Nice.
pretty cool. And gosh, what else do we have? Yeah, and we just did. As I said before, we did the adventure labs. I thought they did a great job. Did a great job with their adventure labs, and I particularly like they did something that I hadn't seen done before, and they had a night adventure lab, which was to walk around downtown Fort Worth area, finding different neon signs or other types of lit signs.
Mhm.
Um, and some of them are even somewhat interactive, but it was, you could do it during the day, but it was really fun to do it after dark. And so and I think it was called Cowtown After Dark, I think is what it was called,
Hmm.
but it was a lot of fun. It was really
Yeah.
cool.
I saw a picture of Neon on social media today
Oh, there you go.
from you, of course. But,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So those
yes.
have been some of the photos that we
Yeah.
took on that. So yeah, it was some neat stuff.
And in the chat, Christy says the echo chamber was fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, we ran into another listener of the podcast there, Genies. He was there, and it was funny because it's a huge cylindrical sculpture that it has like baffles that you can kind of walk in and out of it. But of course, because it's massive and open and made of steel, it has quite the echoey properties. So we were having fun in there.
Nice.
Recorded a little bit of video.
Anything like this?
The after show.
It was even echoier than that.
Wow.
Echoier.
Echoier. It was the echoiest.
Mm.
But it was funny because I was inside goofing off, and Laura had stepped outside.
You?
Yeah, I know, right? Laura had stepped outside, and all of a sudden I hear her go, "Jay," and what? And I'm thinking, what did I do now? I poked my head out, and there's Jerry chatting with Laura. So yeah, it was kind of neat. So that was fun. Yeah, Christy's in the chat. And she says, and the locals took us to a basement bar at one of the neon signs. So one of the neon signs was at a jazz club. And as we were making our observations for the adventure lab, one of the locals had walked up and they were on their way down to the jazz club. They said, "Oh, you guys ever been down here?" I'm like, "Nope." No, "Oh, yeah, well, come on with us. We'll show you." We didn't actually go in, but we went into the waiting area and kind of poked our heads in and looked around. But we felt pretty underdressed. So we're like, "Yeah, we're just thank you. We're just gonna take a look and then we're gonna head back up." But it was really neat. Like,
You
you
were
take
only
the
wearing a
elevator.
5-gallon hat to a 10-gallon hat party, weren't you?
Yeah, no, it was actually it looked like you would have thought you were in one of those typical classy New York basement smooth jazz bars, and everybody's kind of dressed pretty spiffy, and yeah, it was pretty neat. It was quite a surprise to find that place, so that was neat. Um, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, we did all kinds of stuff like that. There's a question from GSMX2 in the chat. Did you do the JFK 50 GT? No, we didn't. We would have loved to have done more geocaching, but we probably spent half our time down there um, prepping for our announcement of GeoWoodstock 18, as well as getting the website worked on. And
Oh yeah, there was that little announcement thing.
yeah, there was that.
Yeah, sometimes too says, and he kept the secret of the year all day long. Do not play poker with Land Monkey.
Yeah, that was fun.
Highlands guy also said they did an amazing geo tour in Dallas, the JFK 50. So this is the 50th anniversary of is it of the assassination or of his presidency? I don't know. But it's about the same time.
63 was the assassination. So
Oh, you're right. Okay. 14 caches at locations associated with President Kennedy assassination in November 1963. It was a highlight of my trip. Just to mention, when I went down to Dallas, I was there and went to what's the plaza? Daily Plaza?
I don't know. There's a grassy knoll there.
Grassy Knoll, yeah. And I walked around that area, and it really is amazing when you see it on, when you watch the videos and you go, okay, and you're there, and it's like, it's all really pretty close, actually, and oh, that's the wind, and okay, well, so it was very interesting for me.
Yeah, there you go. GSM X2 said Daily Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah.
And RF guy as well, Daily Plaza. So there you go. You've got it confirmed by people who were recently there.
I said it, and then you immediately when you say it, you're like, is that right? It just popped out.
Yeah, it's I would have loved to do that, but I'll tell you one thing. On the bucket list is getting back to that area, that Dallas Fort Worth area of Texas again one day. Loved it. And like I said, I talked about the area and how impressed I was with the area, but I have to say I was really impressed with the people, not just the amazing volunteers and organizers of GeoWoodstock 17, but just in general, like the people we bumped into, people we would talk to on the trails. My goodness. On the last cache that we were finding for the Trinity Trails Geo Tour, we're by this tree along the river bank, and we're looking for the cache. And there's a couple of guys just up the hill from us digging a fence line. And, we're kind of close to the property line they're working on. So I think one of us had just said, "Hey, we're just down here doing this game." And so they're, "Oh yeah," they said, "Well, we've been watching people come and go all day." And he said the first folks, that couple of folks that came, were thinking, "Is there a drug deal going on or something down there?" And he says, eventually there's groups of people. So we started asking what's going on. And we know what you guys are doing down there. And so we started chatting with these guys. We're like, well, it's almost dinner time. We're like, hey guys, we're thinking of Mexican tonight. What is like the best authentic Mexican restaurant in the area? Like where would you guys recommend we go? And they gave us a tip, and it was amazing. We had the best Mexican dinner. They had live entertainment. And it was just like the small mom and pop place.
Those are the best.
Oh, It was fantastic. So, I got to say, Fort Worth, you got some high quality people living there. That was awesome. We really
Land Monkey?
Yes, sir.
Were those people giving you directions to the Mexican restaurant on riding lawnmowers of any kind?
Absolutely not, or I would not have taken the directions.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rule 14.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. GSM X2 says, I had a bicyclist waving at me really enthusiastically and friendly. Then I realized he was waving at me because I was driving down the wrong side of the street. Whoops.
How did he know which way you were going?
Oh, he was drinking.
Yeah. Highlands guy says it was very clean, which it was. Absolutely. Very friendly people. He says the only person I saw open carrying was Pathfinder 33. So there you go. Yeah, for all the hubbub and everything about guns and such, I wouldn't have known. I didn't really see anything. So
Well, that it makes me wonder. The Texans are very friendly, but they are allowed to openly carry weapons, and I really think that increases the friendliness of most people.
you
If
think
they
those two
know
things
you're
are
packing
correlated?
heat, you're going to be nice to this guy.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so that's kind of the highlights. It was a lot of fun. Um, I think we really enjoyed that. I've got a lot of video and photos that I'm going to be sharing out on the social medias.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I know,
So,
right?
so while you were there, you did the Trinity Trails Geo Tour. Did you
Yes.
do any other Geo Tours or series?
No, not really. We picked up some random caches here and there if we were close to them. Got a bunch
Sure.
of virtuals. There's some really there. I guess it's a series. There's a number of virtuals with similar names um, throughout the area that were
Mhm.
pretty good.
Okay.
They're all kind of interesting in different ways. So we did those, but honestly, just didn't have as much time for caching as I would have liked to have had. But that's okay. We still had a great time with our friends.
Nice.
Um, yeah,
A-
I'm really
And
glad.
I assume there were 30 uh locations in all the adventure labs. I'm trying to use the right word. There were 3 adventure labs, 10 locations each.
Um,
So,
you know what? I was getting mixed information. I didn't find all the adventure labs.
okay.
I think I only found like between all of them, maybe 15, 20 adventure labs total. Um, it, it, it again, it was just time. We just didn't have enough time to do everything we would have liked to. But if we weren't hosting the next year's event and prepping for that, we probably would have gotten out and done a lot more. But that's
If
okay.
you could store time in a bottle.
If I could store time in a bottle, yeah, me and Jim Croce. But I'll tell you, wherever GeoWoodstock is in 2021, I'll really be able to enjoy it. I'll tell you that much.
Okay. Um, Christy says there were 40 labs total.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Christy.
And of course, we mentioned 17 is a prime number.
Yes.
So a good number. And it's a binary palindrome of 10001. So there's
Oh,
that.
there you go.
That is an interesting fact that you just happen to have off the top of your head.
Yeah, I'm nerdy that way.
You really are.
I'm nerdy a lot of ways. But
Land Monkey, were you able to do the GPS adventure maze?
oh, yeah, totally forgot about that. Yes, absolutely we did. That was a lot of fun. That was our 16,000th milestone.
and you found your way out of the maze.
Nope, still there.
Okay.
I'm broadcasting live from the GPS adventure maze, and I'm hoping someone's going to bring me some food.
Mexican tacos.
There'll be some cheese at the
I'm
end.
getting hungry, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Now I hear that 2 people put on the adventure maze. It was the work of 2 people to bring the adventure maze back to the US.
Okay.
I don't know those 2 people. But
Oh, I was gonna say it sounds like you know more than I do. There were 2 people in charge of it, but I mean, there were a lot of volunteers
Mhm.
working together to make sure that happened. But yeah, I honestly I don't really know much of the story behind it, so that would I know when Tom and Dee were on the podcast a few months ago, they talked about it, but I just can't remember, to be honest.
What else would you be?
Well, that's true. Isn't that a funny expression, eh?
Yeah, I've always thought that. Well, if I'm honest with you, it's like, well, I hope you would be.
When weren't you?
Yeah,
Everything preceding
exactly.
this comment?
Makes you wonder.
Funny. GSMX2 says primarily it was Vince Cole and another.
There you
I
go.
remember another.
So it's been
pushed it through.
it's been 5 years since the GPS maze was in America, in the US.
Oh.
So it's coming back for a limited run.
2
So
years, I
that's
think.
interesting.
2 years, and it can only be at megas. That
Really?
I know.
Okay.
I know those rules.
Okay.
So yeah. So if you're planning a mega, I guess that's an option for you.
Oh, we should do the GPS adventure maze in the tunnel at Going Ape.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Oh,
Never stopped me before.
Funny stuff.
okay. So give us some examples of what you saw in the GPS adventure maze. Not everybody has done it. It's been very location specific, even though it has moved around.
It was definitely location specific. I would say there was a lot of Texas specific stuff in there. So if anybody hasn't seen one of these before, it's basically a steel structure. It's about like 8 foot tall by 4 foot wide steel pole squares. And
Mhm.
then there's printed tarp like material put up to make the walls. So and then it follows a very basic S curve maze type
Mhm.
shape. And there's, I think, about 60 or so panels, and each panel has a little bit of different information. Now, I said it was Texas specific. A lot of the information was very general geocaching, and it starts you with an introduction to what geocaching is and how GPS satellites work, and has a few interactive pieces. And then it basically kind of gets a little more involved as you go around through it, and gets you a little deeper into the concepts of geocaching. One thing they had there that so I've done the Canadian GPS maze years ago when it was in
Okay.
Edmonton, and it was larger, but the Texas one had something that the Canadian one didn't have, which was a night caching section, which was kind of cool.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, they had a volunteer. I'm going to call them a docent, who was there, and they would just gather up enough people and then bring them in. And it was one of the paneled sections had the panels over top,
Mhm.
so that it was darker.
Mm,
And he had a black light and a normal flashlight, and there was some stuff on the panels, and they would shine the lights on them, and
very cool.
yeah, it's kind of fun. It was neat
Nice.
that way. So that was unique, and that was fun. So yeah, I think they did a really good job with the GPS adventure maze. It was obviously a lot of people enjoyed getting the icon, but something else they did is they had when you came out of the GPS adventure maze and went outside onto the sort of patio area, they actually had a number of really, really creative gadget caches set up out there that you could play with, and that was a lot of fun. So that was cool.
Nice. Okay. I have to ask one more thing
Yep.
near and dear to my heart.
Yep.
I see pictures near the GPS maze of some toilet seats.
Oh, yeah.
Barney Smith's Toilet Seat Museum is being relocated as he's decided he's too old to care for it on a regular basis. So some of the exhibits were brought there. Did you get to see them?
I did, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we've all heard of Barney Smith's Toilet Seat Museum and the virtual cache that was there. And yeah, they had, I think, about 6 of the toilet seats on display that were geocaching themed and had, signatures of lots of different cachers on them. So that was kind of neat.
I would have signed one of those.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I should have known. I should have looked for your name on there.
Mm.
But yeah, that was neat. So yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me. So that was definitely there, as well as, like I said, some really interesting, creative gadget caches. So yeah, good job. Good job by the organizing committee. Good job by all the volunteers. A fun time. I can't remember being in a single lineup for anything.
Really? Not
Yeah,
even food?
not even food.
Uh,
It was
GSM times
everything.
2 thought that was a crappy exhibit.
But boom.
Okay, and, so if there's no line for food, was there a line for porta potties?
Well, it was an indoor venue, so
Oh,
I mean, there's toilets in
they
the
had the toi you're right. Never mind. I was
washrooms
trying to
in.
come up with a reason.
Yeah. No, I did not experience. I mean, maybe it was just my personal experience. I did not experience a single lineup for anything.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome.
So you walked right into the maze
Yep.
without standing in a queue. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And you
Now
did see
we
other
went
people.
Sunday morning.
You're there on the
So
right days, right?
we went Sunday morning to the maze. So that probably helped because I think the rush was over by then. But I understood that they did bring people through in groups to help reduce the
Mhm.
queuing, which is good too.
Impressive.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. It's a really good job.
Good. Excuse me. Good deal.
Yeah.
Did you get to go to any of the side events besides Midnight Madness?
No, I was saying that earlier that we would have liked to have been able to do some of that, but the timing just didn't work out. But
Sure.
yeah, they had the motor speedway thing that was pretty amazing, and
Mhm.
they had I think they had like a pub night or something like that another night. And, yeah, it's pretty cool stuff, but it just didn't work out for us. But that's okay. A lot of people had a lot of fun, and that's honestly the whole point of a Geo Woodstock is to get together with other geocachers and just have fun and connect, right? That's really what it's all
Right.
about. So
GSM times 2 says there were no lines for anything except Wednesday's registration. I'm sorry, my mouth has already fallen asleep ahead of the rest of my body.
all right,
And he said, yeah, they never had lines anywhere.
that's awesome.
They were over prepared, and it worked really well for them. So Keats 94 asks, and I'm going to attempt to use to say his words with
Okay.
out stumbling over my tongue. Were there some things from this year's Geo Woodstock that we can expect with next year's Geo Woodstock?
Well,
Land monkeys will be there.
yeah, land monkeys would be
There you
there.
go.
What else do you need? I mean, really. Uh,
Love is all you need.
there's going to be some things. I mean, you're always going to have a reviewers panel, so we're definitely going to be doing that. It's going to be indoors, just like Texas was, so that's a thing. So we'll be able to say we're the second Geo Woodstock that was indoors.
You're the first indoor Geo Woodstock in Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, the first Geo Woodstock in Canada. The first international.
And
We could keep going.
yeah, no, but it was one of the things that I think is great is that we've actually spoken with and electronically communicated subsequently with the some of the crazy eights, the hosts of Geo Woodstock 17, and have been getting a lot of great advice of lessons learned, things that that maybe they thought, we thought we were going to go this way, but then we looked through it and decided, no, we're going to pull it back. A lot of advice about don't worry about this or that, focus more on that and that.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of things that are really tradition about Geo Woodstock
Mhm.
that we will be carrying on in Geo Woodstock 18. But we are also, it's a different event. It's going to be very Canadian. It's going to have a very Canadian feel and flavor to it. So, expect that there will be some differences, but I don't expect there'll be too many people complaining.
You have to give it a favorite point with a U.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have to add a vowel to everything.
Let's see if my cousin is there. That you know my cousin. She's in Canada.
Probably.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh,
So that's the short answer.
Poutine.
I don't know if we'll have any at the venue, but
No guns on the stage.
there will be no guns on the stage. I can guarantee that.
These are all from the chat. I'm not coming with my own.
I can guarantee there will be no guns in the facility.
is there maple syrup in every registration level?
Not every registration level, but you never know. You never know.
Nice. Let's see, like poutine and ketchup chips.
Yeah, you have to count your fines in metric, I think, too.
Yes, absolutely. That is going to be so. I'm going to provide a metric conversion calculator for all the American geocachers so that they have the ability to count their cache fines in metric.
Oh, that's why you're at 16,000.
Well, that's correct. I have 16,000
metric cache
finds.
Now I get it. Okay. You're fine. You're cute, Land Monkey. Isn't he adorable?
Yep. I think so.
Mhm.
All
I
right.
bet you do.
Anyways, I think I've droned on long enough.
There'll be no drone photos, though.
There will be, because there will not be, I should say. That is correct, because we are immediately adjacent to an international airport.
What if you left the drone on the inside of the building? It should be fine then.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, there's probably other ways to get the photo.
Oh.
But
Okay.
yeah, we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it, folks. There'll be a photo. Anyway.
Nice. Well, Land Monkey, thank you for sharing with us GeoWoodstock 17, some of your feelings of your experiences in Dallas Fort Worth, GPS Adventure Maze. Very nice. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. It's been kind of a weird episode, me talking the whole time. So I'm looking forward to next week when we'll have a guest on and I don't have to do all the talking.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You know what? That brings up a good point, though. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Come back next week when we are going to talk with a guest. I'm going to mention that guest's name because they're in the chat, and I just wanted to build a little anticipation. We are going to be talking with Keats94 about writing better logs.
Like glows.
Yes. You know, a glow doesn't have to be long. A glow just has to be descriptive. It has to paint a mental image or tell a story.
Hmm.
You know, a dot, a period, that doesn't cover it. That doesn't cut it.
No. Stop that.
In any language. June 20th, we are going to talk with JT Coffee, who is in charge of the Going Ape 2019 event.
Ah, the Ape Queen?
The self-appointed Ape Queen, yes.
Very nice.
And then on the 27th, we're going to talk with another person in the chat, and I'm going to hold off just to build that anticipation because you think it might be you, don't you? It's Christy of the Geo Travelers about planning geocaching trips. You know, summer's coming up, and when you go take your summer vacation, you know what? A lot of us take summer vacations. The locations are based on geocaches we want to do or areas we want to go to and geocache. Christy's going to help us with that.
Well, and Christy has had quite an illustrious career as a travel agent, so she knows a lot about this. So she's going to be a great guest to have to speak to us about that.
MC3 Cats does confirm she is the Ape Queen.
That's JT Coffee.
Yeah. It's just a funny title, and like I don't know if she can live that name down.
Why would she want to?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
All right. Well, at this point in the show is also where I would like to take a moment to thank Landsharks, our corporate Denali level sponsor. Ooh, look at them go.
Cute little fishy.
That's right.
Oh, the shark.
The sharks, landsharks.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online or go in person to visit their store in Victoria, British Columbia. They're open 6 days a week except holidays, and they ship orders online daily. And of course, we also want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters, which includes Landsharks, but also JP's Geo Designs, Bounce, Limax, Team Squirrel, and WorldCaching.com. If you want to know more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. And everybody who supports us is a growing list, and I'm getting a real deep breath here as I get ready to go through it. And
I was going to interrupt you and say, well, you've spoken so much. Should Wits End and I?
Oh, please have a turn, gents.
Should we alternate their Wits End and see how we do?
We won't live up to Land Monkey, but sure.
Go ahead. You start it.
Broncos fan for life.
Sprouter.
Camp Clan.
Tick Magnet.
Gav MacD.
Subway Mark.
Dora Moore.
Dune Buddy.
Kid Vegas 19.
GeoNav Pros.
Wino Seattle.
Ackerdoc.
Billy Robson.
Genies.
Antaeus.
Keats 94.
Trexter Zero.
MC3 Cats.
Kennel Barb.
M Merv.
Wet Coaster and Greenwords.
CJ Hove.
Alarobic.
Keepers of the Cash Flow.
Highlands Guy.
And the Geo Travelers.
Yay!
Yay. Hey, I like that way better. Let's do that
Oh, yeah.
from now on.
Oh,
That
thanks.
was way more fun.
Was that more fun?
That was way more fun. All right.
Well, it's been a Thursday where we tend to gather here. And until next Thursday, how could people find you, Land Monkey, to ask you more questions that maybe they didn't get their question answered about GeoWoodstock 17?
Oh, I'm sure they did and more. But you can find my website, landmonkey.blogspot.ca, or just landmonkey.ca will take you there. Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. Follow me at LandMonkeyGC. And of course, on YouTube, we've got our channel there, LANMONKEY, Land Monkey on YouTube. Wits End. What are all the various Witsy Z in the middle type places people can find you?
You can find me Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Geocaching's Message Center. It's pretty much song and, well, content free. I'm just Wits End. Chris?
Oh, that's funny. You can find me on Twitter at CachingNW, Facebook.com/CachingNW, Instagram, I'm Caching in the Northwest. You know what? Don't take the time. Don't pull over. Even though on I-5 traffic is probably already stopped and you would have time to pull out a notepad, write down in cursive our addresses, just head on over to CachingNW.com/hosts and read our bios and find all those links that we just mentioned.
2.5 hours from downtown Seattle to home tonight for me.
Wow. And you wonder why we have road rage.
Road wage.
We have some road rage tonight.
I think you're almost done for tonight.
Oh, I was done before I started.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I need to say.
Oh, what's that?
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Don't forget that you could be part of the show. Call 253-693-TFTC. Leave us a comment, ask us a question, or be willing to bake us a cupcake any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@CachingNW.com. Your support helps keep quality shows coming. So if you like this show, click that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website and subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and more. Give us a thumbs up or a review. The show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, and Jay Kennedy. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attributions 3.0 license. Copyright 2019 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, we ask you to stay tuned for the very echoey.
The After Show.
But it's not super echoey. It's not the echoiest.
No, it's not. We've learned that tonight. Amongst the things we've learned tonight, we've also learned that B. Pendragon has large plushes that are moving with him for sure.
And I know a couple of people that are probably very happy about that.
I wonder who those could be. That's funny.
Oh, Christy goes, is it a Wathgally Wabbit? Yeah. But Iham says, no, I was thinking of WOV. Two WOV is what brings us together today.
That's right.
I taught putty tat.
There you go. The fun never ends, except for when we get tired of it and shut the show down.
That's true. I'm tired. I'm not tired of it, but I'm tired. Keats 94 just completed the Amazing Places Geo Tour on Vancouver Island. There's still some Geo coins left, but I've been told they will get more if they run out. A great tour on Van Isle.
Let's test that. Everybody go complete that and see if they order more.
Yeah, I think so. That is a great Geo tour. I've actually got a YouTube video up on my YouTube channel of our adventures of doing that one. Definitely, if you're curious.
Nice.
Now, we did it in the middle of winter on a pretty rainy period of time. So it, of course, this time of year would look much prettier than it did then, but it's still a great place to go.
Dora Moore is hoping to do it next weekend.
There you go. It's a fantastic location.
So, Land Monkey, you're from Canada.
Yes.
There are some friends.
I'm still there, in fact. Okay. You have some friends?
The Davis Bay cacher from BC. Do you know them?
I do not.
Oh, well, Stark Cacher does.
Excellent.
The caching team of Davis Bay Cacher from BC attended the local monthly meet and eat in Maumee, Ohio, Tuesday evening as they were caching on a tour circling Lake Erie. Okay, Star Cacher, I have to know where in Maumee, because I grew up in Perrysburg, which is, right across the river, and I was just curious where. That's it.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if that's how you pronounce the name of that city, and now I just think it's funny.
Mommy.
You
I would
know,
have said Maumee, but
my grandfather, yeah, I didn't take everything he said seriously, but he said there was a lot of Native American population there, and one of the children fell in the river and was being swept downstream, and they yelled, "Mommy, mommy, mommy," and it became the Mommy River. I know it's a terrible story, isn't it? You hate
Sounds like
laughing
the
at it
kind
because it's not funny.
it's the kind your grandfather would tell, though. Yeah, my
Exactly.
grandfather would tell a story like that too.
He says Schlotsky's Deli on Conan Street.
Ah, yes,
Yeah. Ah,
Schlotsky's. That's a Tim Hortons of mommy.
is it? It sounds very Midwest.
It sounds Polish to me.
Well, there you go.
Schlotsky.
Yeah.
But actually, there's probably a Tim Hortons there as well.
Yeah, there are in that section of the world.
The only U.S. Tim Hortons I've been to was in Columbus, Ohio.
There you go.
And they have a couple of them in there in Columbus. I had lunch there one day. I
Spent a
can
week
tell
there
you
Quite
about.
the same, though. I just got to say, it's not quite the same as a Canadian Tim Hortons.
How do you know?
Because I've been to Tim Hortons when
Oh.
I was on my road trip down to Cincinnati. They're similar, but they're not quite the same. Plus, it's not in Canada.
That's true. Iham says there's a Schlotsky's in Kent.
Yeah, very cool. I have to check.
You know
that out.
what? We'll coordinate with Starcasher. We'll eat at our Schlotsky's. They'll eat at their Schlotsky's. We'll do a virtual meet and greet.
There
Say
you
the
go.
name of the restaurant.
Excellent. All right. Well, what do you think?
I think we
Time for
have
Chris
done
to go to
all
bed?
that we can do. And probably a little bit more. But folks, thanks for listening. Until next week, get out and get caching in the Northwest.